man.
Well, good morning and welcome to Morning at NTV. My name is Eddie Sendi, and today is a lovely day because it's the 5th of April. The year is moving by. What are you doing? What are you preparing to achieve this year? You can do it, by the way. Do not doubt it at any single moment. Now, to be part of the conversation, you can go to our social media platforms. That is on X, YouTube, Facebook, and any other social media platform that is comfortable to you. Look out for NTV Uganda and use the hashtag Morning at NTV, or look out for me, Idris Matusega, on X, and tell me what you think about today's topic, which is, depending on how old you are, if you have ever held a pen, put it in a cassette, and did this to go back to the song that you like. Those were the days when music was only distributed on cassette tapes, vinyls, radio. Basically, if you wanted to hear a song that you liked, these were the limited platforms that you can access. But today, things are different. Because of technological development, advancement, we have what we call streaming services. Things like Apple has iTunes. You can go to Spotify and listen to any single song that you would like. Now, in studio today, I have capable gentlemen to discuss how has this technological advancement, which is the streaming services, how has it impacted the music industry today in Uganda? And in studio, I have Eddie Sendi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Usual analyst. Why should I even introduce you, Andrew? Because I think everyone knows you, Andrew Kaggwa.
I don't think.
You don't think so? You're not at that level yet?
I'm not at that level.
I think you are. I think you are. And Mark the Urban, the dancer of Maradona. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Mami Sendi, I'll start with you.
Yes, please.
Do you think Ugandan artists are embracing these streaming apps for the music industry today?
We have a challenge, and sometimes my arguments, I don't like keeping them to the artists because some people feel like you are putting down the industry.
Yeah.
But I would say we still have a challenge to adapt with technological advancement in Uganda and in the biggest part of Africa.
Okay.
It's not an issue of only the artists, but I'll give you an example. Randomly, just the next 10 people you meet out of this building, check them out and say, what is iTunes? Or have you streamed any music anywhere, anytime? You'll be surprised with the answer you will get. Now, and we should always remember and know that musicians are the face of society. Today, someone is watching us. Tomorrow, he's starting a music career. Now, that person is going to come with his ignorance. And ignorance is not abusive, but lack of knowledge of the technological advancement. So, in a nutshell, I would say we are moving at a snail speed to adapt to the new trends in music. 2, we don't want to learn. A lot of our people, and it is not, guys, understand me well, it is not musicians that don't want to learn. No, it is Ugandans don't want to learn. So what musicians suffer, all other Ugandans suffer as well. Because if we wanted to learn, every musician would have a serious, dedicated social media manager whose 8 to 5 is how do I get my artist to benefit from technological advancement? How do I put my music out there? How do I monitor my music using technology? Do you realize that we have, I think, 3 apps in Uganda whereby if someone can buy your song to listen to it for 1,000 shillings. But as long as that transaction goes through, you get 500 shillings.
What are these platforms?
I think one is called UG Sound, something like that. You can sell your music, but real time. Idris wants to listen to Mark the Urban, he goes to ugsound.com, something like that, I'm not very sure, and he can pay 1,000 shillings and you listen to Mark the Urban's music. But the moment that money is deducted off your phone, mobile money or Airtel money, Mark the Urban's account gets 500 shillings real time. But our artists are not eager to get onto such platforms, and the users, the fans, are good at shouting, hey, hey, but they are not eager to
make a transaction.
To make a transaction to support the artist they claim to love and die for. Okay? Chibumba cha Gundi, Chibumba cha Idris, Mutima, Katago Kani, but can't even buy
a single tune
for 1,000 shillings, so that the artist gets 500 shillings real time.
Mami Eddie Sendi, I notice you're wearing a very dapper shirt that has, is that Sound Boost?
Song Boost.
Song Boost.
Yes.
What's that?
Song Boost is a tech, it's tech. Song Boost is a monitoring app. It monitors music for artists, managers, promoters, investors, and anybody interested. You basically just go to, it's an app, it's on web, it's on Apple Store, it's on Google Play Store.
Yeah.
Download it, register, upload your music, and subscribe.
So when you say monitor artists' songs,
now an artist can invest as much as 20 million shillings in releasing one song. But as well, that doesn't mean that they are not people who invest 500,000. But imagine, let's put it on the maximum, somebody has invested 20 million Uganda shillings in this era.
Yeah.
That person deserves to know, is my music played on The Beat? Is it played on Spark TV? Is it played on KFM? You get it? Now this app helps you to know when and where the music is played.
In real time.
So in turn,
in real time.
Then how do I benefit from that?
One, you get to know where your music is played. Two, you get to know, if you have more than one song, you get to know which song is played where. The benefits are many. We can take an hour and so explaining that.
Why I asked about such a platform is that you've mentioned that artists are not willing to embrace these technological platforms, etc. And I'll come to you, Andrew, with this. Do you think there is actual tangible benefit that artists can actually obtain from such services?
The streaming platforms?
Yes. Streaming platforms and Song Boost.
One, just to add a bit on what he was saying, like it's even not even an African problem. It's just that the rest of the world kind of moved on quicker technologically, but worldwide, very many people feel like they should be consuming music for free.
Yeah.
People do not want to pay for music, like it's in their DNA. When Eddie Kenzo released, I think Made in Africa, like I was on a show with him the next day. I did not know I was supposed to be on a show with him, so I was there to review the album. And then he had a very big team where there was a DJ, then there were those other people that usually come with artists, and like the Msaigwa, Eddie Kenzo. And none of them had bought the album. Like none of them in the team had bought the album, but they were waiting for probably someone to send it to them on WhatsApp. so they pirate their best artists, which doesn't make sense. So how these platforms are beneficial: one, they are moving your music to places you might not go to physically, or places you might not be able to access. Like, the thing is not always about the money, but it's how far they can move the music. Because very many artists world over have been complaining of how streaming platforms are paying poorly. But then at the end of the day, whenever someone tries to distribute music on their own, say they put it on their website, they see how it's hard to reach a wider audience when it's on your website. When it's on a streaming platform, like, the reach is immense. Like, you do not even know who are listening to your music. Like, the money might not be that much. Everyone around the world, as far as the artists, they are complaining about the money, but the audience you're reaching is really wide. Huge. Yeah. So
Mark the Abbott.
Yeah.
Mwami Eddie Sendi and Andrew have mentioned two things that I would like to get your opinion on.
Yeah.
Eddie says, you artists, and basically Ugandans at large, inclusive me, we have refused to embrace technology.
Yeah.
We have refused to go onto these platforms and actually make purchases that eventually benefit you as an artist.
Yeah.
And Andrew is saying that, look here, when you are on such a platform, you can reach an audience that you could never dream about reaching internationally.
Yeah.
You as an artist, how have these online streaming services and other social media platforms like TikTok and the like, how have they impacted your music, the way you distribute it to your fans?
First of all, I would like to say thank you for hosting me today again.
Thank you for coming.
And I'm humbled to share the same table with Uncle Sendi. It's a pleasure. Yeah, I'm Mark Diabar from Gaza Kawempe. I will use the same word that he used. He said that we are very ignorant about certain issues pertaining how we are going to distribute our music and how we are going to put it out to the people. Because just and trust issues. Who is going to distribute my music? And if you tell somebody it's DistroKid, he will ask you, who is DistroKid? Avera Woyo. You know? So, me generally, I see my music moving places, going everywhere that I didn't expect, that I never dreamed that I can be or reach there, or I will even perform there, which is something important to me, that even if I leave this world, maybe my music will remain in the archives. Maybe some people someday to come, they will listen to. But the general problem is people don't want to understand how to utilize the time in a moment, because it's a long process putting out music there, and people want to achieve very, very quickly, because tomorrow I need to perform, I need to get money out of my song, because I'm going to release the next song, I need the video and the promotion money, blah, 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 blah. So it's kindly such a thing that people are just ignorant about everything. We need a lot of sensitization and people to know, because it will not reap as soon as you put your music out there, but it's a long time. You have to keep on pushing. You have to keep on monitoring your music, as he said, to make sure that you continue pushing your music so that people understand and know it, sharing the links, and advocating for your friends to listen to your music. Me personally, it has changed my life and my career. I've come to understand that it's not only in Uganda or in Gaza Kawempe, where I come from, that people should listen to my music. There are a lot of people outside, elsewhere in the country, that need to listen to the message, because at the end of the day, I'm passing out the right message to the people.
Mwami Eddie Sendi.
Yes, please.
Mark the Urban, an artist, says there is need for awareness, and there are people who are the consumers of these kind of music who say, I do not understand this system, I do not understand the technology. And there have been claims that literacy level in Uganda has improved over the years. Do you think it has a contribution to people not embracing such platforms, that people are just illiterate?
If you remember in my submission, I said it's a Ugandan thing. We don't want to learn.
But why don't we want to learn?
I think it is in our DNA. Trust me. Let me tell you. I will ask, how many people read a user manual?
Yo.
Well, a few, but not a few. I would want to think that's
in a million, you will find one person.
Yes.
Now, you know, sometimes when I make some statements, to justify my statements, I throw it at the viewers.
Yes.
How many of you viewers ever read a user manual? You understand?
Yeah.
So that justifies my statement that we don't want to learn.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, my advice to Mark the Urban and all performing artists out there, before you think of a chain, before you think about buying that nice boot, before you think about the nice shirt you're going to wear to perform, put a lot of emphasis on your craft, on your music. How do you write? Whom are you writing for? How do you play it or perform it? Then how do you plan to distribute it? How are you marketing yourself, the music, and you yourself? Okay, because those are two different elements.
Yeah.
You realize we have people, you know the music, you don't know the person. Or you know the person, you don't know the music.
Yeah.
Sometimes people throw out the song, it runs ahead of them. You've had incidences of, I know some musicians don't like it, especially when they're still struggling. But so I will use the names of people who surpassed it. Aruna Mubiruchi, Chitoke.
Yeah.
David Lutalo, Kapa Apala. That means the song has surpassed you. Now, how do you market yourself? How do you market the song? Now, it needs getting ropes. It needs consulting the people in the industry. But the challenge we have today, buli muntu mugezi.
Exactly.
Buli muntu mugezi. He's been in the industry for 3 months. He's the
expert.
He's the expert.
Yeah.
People don't want to listen. People don't want to learn. And a lot of people, I think there is some food given to people born after 1990 coming up that has a negative vibe in them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Then,
what, Mwami Eddie Sendi?
Like what?
Like what? Like what behaviors?
a negative energy.
Yeah.
I will use his example because he's here.
But you born after 90?
No, and I'm not being personal, but I'm saying today's artists, majorly, if you ask him, he might complain about something and you say, have you been to NTV to drop your music there? Or have you sent somebody to drop your music at NTV? You know the answer you'll get? Abubagayi bambwa. And you are like, have you been there? So that is the negative energy that a lot of our young artists have.
They don't want to go down to...
No, they have a negative energy. Have you tried? Knock on that door, say your name, ask for whom can I talk to give my music.
Andrew,
whether you are bounced, let it be on record that I went,
and
I tried,
bounced.
I was bounced.
Yes.
When you succeed, because at the end of the day, all we do
is try. No, of course.
It all comes from God.
True.
Do you understand? There are doors that you have opened, or people have opened for you, and you didn't expect the door to be opened for you, but you went, you tried.
Yeah.
I love using the saying, it's better to try
Than not
and
to try
fail than not trying at all.
Indeed. Andrew, I want to come to you as a baby who was born after 1990. How do we improve this negative energy, this perception of things are not going to work out at all the time and only complaining? And locally, we can say, we always say government here to Yambi. So how do we teach people on what to do, number one, and how do we improve our perception of where the music industry is going?
That's of artists. One, it starts with building a team. Like you cannot be doing everything yourself. And one thing I've learned from working with creatives is that for some reason they're always in that zone, and that zone where they believe no one understands them besides themselves. So you need people that are going to make those moves for you without you making the moves. One, before you get into the industry, you must know that this is a job, which I kind of think most people do not realize. Most people just have that goal where they want to be famous, or the concept of being famous, but what happens after that is something they rarely plan for. So what happens is you come in, you get the concept of fame, you look the part, but then you do not have the money. That's because you did not plan for your career. And one of the things you didn't do, probably you didn't put together a team, you did not know how to let your words speak without you singing. Say, if I'm talking to NTV and I want to work with them and I was an artist, how do I talk to them about what I want to do without having to sing? Because I do not have to sing all the time. When I face the new ED and I want to pitch myself, I will not start by the way sing and then I sing, or by the way dance and you start blowing moves. You'll have to explain your concept. So we need to professionalize by either getting the right people to do the things, actually not even either, we need to get the right people to do the things we cannot do as artists.
And Mark Diaben, coming to you. What are some of the challenges that you as an artist feel that you are facing in embracing such platforms like iTunes, Spotify, TikTok and the like? What do you pinpoint and say, you know why, we failed to do this because of this?
I will talk as a ghetto boy from Kawembe. There are a number of challenges, but people, all the ghetto youths, they actually fear how abamu tebalina n'amasimu nayenga ayimba. Some of them don't even have phones. And they know that if you have a phone, it's only WhatsApp and TikTok and, you know, calling and receiving messages and sending money. The fear to approach people who will help them because of their differences. Now, how will I with the way I look? So the low self-esteem also is a problem to the ghetto youths. Another thing that I would say is also the quality and the lyrics and the songs that people sing down there. Lusobola omulemesa for example, somebody can sing a word that people may not understand, and you're like, what is he singing about?
So,
you understand? So even when this is our music for the ghetto, they might not play it there on TVs and radio. You understand? The qualities of the audios and the videos that we have sometimes. One day, I brought my video to a certain media house, and they told me the specifications of how the visual should look like, and to what, I don't know, the quality.
yeah.
If it doesn't amount to this and this and this and this and this, it won't be played here. But when you look at what the video director gave me, it was like, and over judges, because could TV was chino.
Based on what? Well, your video director was telling you this. Based on what?
Like, let me say,
Based on his experience.
Yes.
And the number of artists that he has been working for, and their music is playing on TV and radio. Like, whether it was a 6K, 4K, you understand?
Yeah.
But along the way, I realized creating friends in that sector can help you more than people who just tell you, oh, hey, chiti, chiti. In other words, we should not hear from people, or we hear from people telling us this and this and this happened at NTV, and we've never been there, and we believe. So all those are challenges that you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, the unique aspect that comes with streaming services is that they are not restrictive to an extent that you might find, let's say, with a media house like here. That you can upload whatever music you want,
yeah,
and anyone can access that. So,
yeah,
do you have any fear as an artist on doing that? Apart from what you've mentioned, that some people don't have phones, others are not tech savvy. Is there any fear as you, an artist, that you have?
Yeah, because some artists have numbers and huge followings and plays and listeners there on those streaming platforms. Sometimes it may be chimarama amanyo mutu to go and check his song there. Taina yo listener, taina yo download, taina yo anything of the sort. So all those are challenges that limits. That limit. Uncle Sendi, I'm speaking as somebody from down there.
True. Yeah.
So that,
are you right?
So that
you're totally
maybe
right.
if they are seeing me, and as you people analyze and explain to them how they work, they will understand. You know, for me personally, I've learned over time, and the hard way, because I had to embrace it, because that's where I'm going, and that's my vision. If I mark the urban, then I'm not expecting my music to be mark the local or mark the rural.
But it has to be marked the urban.
It has to be marked the urban, and once it goes mark the urban, that is
it
the
doesn't
way.
go back.
Yes.
Andrew, I want to bring you into this conversation. You as a journalist who is always covering entertainment, what are some of the limitations you've observed that artists have, or concerns they have into embracing such platforms?
Most of them are in their heads. They're not really limitations. No, like I've had people say the internet in Uganda is very expensive, which is very true.
Yeah.
But then those same people will spend like a full day watching TikTok videos, and definitely they are using data. Like the data they are using to watch TikTok videos is even much more than they would use to stream a song, because streaming music, the audio part of it is like one of the cheapest things you can do with data. Like the moment you start watching videos, watching YouTube videos, like you find people watching Talk and Talk for 1 full hour, like that's a lot of data compared to listening. So some of the limitations are created, and many of them are in our heads, but there is also that general lack of information. For instance, the cheapest platform, like one that's really accessible, is Boomplay. It's a streaming platform. It's pre-installed on literally each and every Techno, Infinix, and there's that other phone, like it's from that line. I think iTel.
iTel.
Like, yeah, those ones come with Boomplay pre-installed. Yes. It's the biggest streaming platform in Africa, and it's basically engineered for African music. Like, you don't even need to download it. Like, if you have one of those phones, definitely it will come pre-installed on the phone, but someone is probably holding that phone and they do not know that this Boomplay is a streaming platform, or how do I navigate it? So there is that lack of information. Then people that are lying to people, say you find someone running a website, he's exploiting Ugandan artists, putting their music there for free, and they are moving the gospel that Ugandans are not ready for streaming, but then they are running a website where they have music, which is basically streaming, just that the artist doesn't benefit, and they are telling you the other one is sad, but this is easy. And in a way, they find ways of, I don't know if it's tricking, or they find ways of convincing artists to give them their music, and the artists even promote those websites. Like, you find someone saying, I'm #1 on Howie Bees. Like there are no benefits in being #1 on Howie Bees, like, for real. But you find an artist promoting that instead of actually telling the audience, go and find my music on Boomplay, on Spotify, on Apple Music. And then just even knowing like how much is involved. Yeah. Like, come on, you pay 10,000 and you're listening to all the music in the world on Spotify, 10,000 a month. And there is even a free plan where you're not even paying anything. But it's just that in between songs they'll be playing ads. But I mean, would you mind an ad if you're consuming for free? So a lot of information is not out. So most of the limitations are the information is not out, and then the problems we create in our head, especially that one of data is expensive. Like, that is a problem we create in our minds.
Mami Eddie Sendi.
Yes, please.
From what I'm hearing from both Mark Dearborn and Andrew is that artists, both artists and the consumers, are not aware. Information is not out. They don't know how to use these platforms. They don't know the right platforms to use. Does this go back to what you said at the start of this conversation, that Ugandans, we have a problem? We do not want to learn. We do not want to go out there and understand how the business side of music is run.
I'm sorry, I'm going to change a bit and give solutions. I don't know how long this show is going to run. But one, for the artists out there, especially in the ghettos of Kampala and Uganda, there is something called mindset change.
Yeah.
Mindset change. Mukyuse endowooza yammwe. Bw'oba oyagala okuvaayo, sooka okyuse engeri gy'olowooza. Bw'oba oyagala okuvaayo, beera nga ogenda. Tobeera nga weesika. Awo naagendawo. Njogedde mu Luganda, baganda bange abali mu ghetto, muntegeere bulungi. We need mindset change in order to move. And this cuts across all sectors. 2, mulekerawo ennyimba eziwemula. Zikulemesa okutambula. There's nothing as bad as vulgar language and obscenity and nudity in the videos, especially in the new artists or the ghetto youth, and that hinders development of your music, because in some stations, some of the criteria are how clean is your video.
Yeah.
Now, you are trying to break through, but then your lyrics are dirty. It's unfortunate. You give an example of an established artist who is good at obscenity. He's established. He's already up there. There are so many people yearning for him. You haven't been established yet, so you should be clean. Omwava alina okuba n'empisa. Kitwale mu ngeri y'emu. Ntegereka bwe ngamba bwentyo. Omugagga ne bw'ataba na mpisa, naye omwava alina okuba n'empisa. What do I mean? I'm not saying it is good to be obscene, but an established artist can be, because he's already been established. But when you are a new artist, make sure you are clean. Not clean as a clean shirt, but your lyrics and your video. So that Idris is comfortable giving a try your music. And the viewers out there are comfortable to watch your music or to listen to your music anytime, anywhere. The struggles in the ghetto don't mean obscenity. Because some people relate the ghetto to obscenity. 3, sorry, I kept noting my points here. Now, the elites in the ghetto, those who have managed to break through the kinds of Fiki Gaza, Mark the Urban, you should assist the young guys as much as possible and assist unconditionally.
Yeah.
Unconditionally. Give advice, let the guy go.
But
don't give advice.
That's if people knew how they broke out.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. And it doesn't mean you should take somebody through the same route you went through,
exactly,
the hard route you went through. Embrace technology as much as you can. And anybody in the ghetto out there, and all Ugandans, there is something called Google. Google, it is on every phone. Borrow the phone, ask the owner, please put in for me, how do I put my music on YouTube?
Indeed. Ask for information on how to do
just
things.
Some things should be basic.
Yes.
So regardless of where you are, borrow. If you don't have a phone, you are in the ghetto, I will be using your words. But you know somebody who has a phone, and you have your song, you want to push it.
Basically, have a structure and a plan. Indeed. Andrew, as we conclude this conversation, what's the way forward? Mwami Eddie Sendi has outlined some of the things that artists can do to move forward and embrace the streaming services. What would you think artists should do and should look out for, and how should they plan? Because streaming services are here to stay. It's a trend that is not going to go away or alternate to something else. We are moving into technological streaming services and all that. How do we, as artists, embrace this and be ready for it?
One, it still goes back to organizing yourself, and understanding that we are not going to move backwards. It's going to be so hard for any person to, like, I think some artists have even never sold a tape. Because when you're talking about tapes, the only people that have sold tapes and CDs could be the era of the ones that actually sold music when it was put on CDs and tapes. Could be that era of Chameleon, Ragadi, Bebe Cool, Eagles Production, and I think after those, everyone that came after that has probably even never had like a tangible album where it's like it's there, it exists. So we are not going to go back there. So right now we need to find ways of putting our music out there, and not everyone is going to be on Spotify, so you need to find ways of putting your music on. Like, we have distributors that can put your music across all platforms. Like, at times you won't even know which platforms your music is on, but the moment you work with the right distributor, like, your music will get there. I think TuneCore is one of them, and they kind of opened up to Uganda, I think, about 3 years back. So they are very active here. Like, look for that information, because people with that information are here.
An upcoming artist would ask, where do I look for this information? Apart from going to Google, how do I look for this?
To the producer, this is not an advert. But I'm giving information.
Okay.
We have 2 distributors that I know of in Uganda. Yeah. We have Mpaka Records. Mpaka Records is owned by Waiki Benda. And we have Swang's Avenue. There could be others, but I know of those 2.
Of those 2.
If you are an artist out there and you want to distribute your music to all the social media platforms, all the digital platforms, walk from Kawempe, walk from Matuga to Swang's Avenue, ask the receptionist, I have my music, I want it on all digital platforms. They will help you, they will not charge you. Look for Waiki Benda, look for Mpaka Records.
They'll be able to
tell
help
them,
you, basically.
I want to distribute my music on digital platforms. They will help you. Start somewhere.
Mark the Urban. Yeah. As we have a few minutes to conclude this conversation, you have something called the Dancehall Syrup.
Yeah.
Tell us about that in a few.
The Dancehall Syrup is my upcoming show.
Yeah.
Strictly dancehall. Like I said the last time I was here, dancehall music has been, you know, 50-50 over some good years because of the new genres of music that have been coming in, and then the advices that people were giving me from a long time, and all that. So it's going to happen to prove to people that dancehall still lives here in Uganda, and it's the #1 commander in the clubs and everywhere else. So I will be letting you know the dates that I will schedule, and I beg kindly people to support me, the promoters, the media houses, and all that. All the ghetto youths. It's a show for ghetto youths to raise awareness that talent can happen at any time and can be so successful. And the other advice that I will give, it will be to all the ghetto youths out there: be humble. Be humble, most especially if you have talent, because evuga speed sometimes ofuka idol eri abantu never idolizing. Some people see you as God, but be humble and try to learn new
and
things
lead by example.
And live by example.
Yeah.
So I call upon every ghetto youth okumanya Katonda we, okusamba bakulu baffe nga ba Uncle Sendi tubasemunyeshitiba abatunda kutefu kubanga sibangu. Then naturally I'm raising awareness. There is a disease that is going on, the red eyes. Everyone is suffering from red eyes and sands, you know, so be vigilant and maintain hygiene. Muzuke kumachaba ghetto youth so
anything unique about the dancehall syrup?
Yeah, I would like to tell people that this is a show, one of its kind. It's gonna be different because it's strictly dancehall music.
Strictly dancehall.
And I will be playing it live, live music. It won't be CD, it will be live. I'll be playing it with the band. Right. So I'm inviting you.
Looking forward
to come, please. Uncle Sendi, no Mukuru, please come and attend my show.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much.
I'm going to keep following. I will ensure I come. I have even just checked out guys, let's support him. I'm meeting him the first time, by the way.
Ah, okay. Oh, really?
The name I knew, but we had never met.
Interesting. Well,
and
this is
I
a
had
place
some
to meet.
stories, but
Hey!
the stories are
I'm here to say away from that.
Check Mark the Urban's website. I mean YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Mark the Urban.
The Urban. Well,
Kindly go subscribe, listen to his music. That's one of the ways
you can support.
Thank you
we
so
can
much.
support.
Gentlemen, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for coming through. The conversation can never end.
It's been very interesting, so it had to run.
Yeah,
very quick.
definitely. We feel like it's been 15 minutes or 10. And you at home who has been watching us, please, you can continue this conversation on our social media platforms. That is on X, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, TikTok. Look out for NTV Uganda. The hashtag is Morning at NTV, or myself, Idris Matusegawa on X. Talk to me. Tell me, what would you like to hear more here on Friday? Because every Friday I'm here talking about entertainment and other social topics. Now, we are about to cross over to Ivan Walunyolo, who will be talking to us after the break. But do not go away. There's so much more coming through.